Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It is the final round of League One predictions. What a journey we've been on. But where does it leave us? It leaves us with pretty much not much to play for, with everything being sewn up in the league apart from one playoff spot. But because my beloved Oxford United are going for that playoff spot, then you can believe this is the most tense and exciting round ever. Those three games are going to be the final three games, so stick around to the end of the video to see our thoughts on those ones, and we're going to trudge through the other round of dead rubbers, starting with Gillingham, and for the final time, Plymouth Argyle.
Green Army! So Plymouth had a nice debut season. They're finishing the league somewhere between 18th, 17th, and 18th. That is what is happening to Plymouth.
I would say they'll be happy they stayed up. I'd say they were disappointed with the way the season's ended. It has really capitulated badly for them. But they will be playing in League One next season, and that's all that matters when you're a newly promoted side. I think Gillingham will also look at the season with bit of good, bit of bad. There were times they were right up there challenging, and at times where the form fell off a cliff as well. I just because Plymouth's form's been so bad, I'm just going to back Gillingham in this one. I think it'll be Plymouth will get a goal, but it will be a 2-1 win for the Gills.
I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw, a Desmondo. Wigan Athletic versus Swindon Town.
That's right, we're naming them now.
They're going down. They might not exist in a month.
They're no longer a threat. Let's hope that's not the case. But yeah, terrible season for Swindon. Probably, I've said it a few times. I think they've probably been the most disappointing out of all the sides. So certainly the way they were in League Two, you wouldn't have expected them to be this bad in League One. And it's really couldn't have gone any worse for them. Wigan, on the other hand, we thought it would be this kind of season that Swindon had, but they've really pulled it around and they've got themselves out of trouble towards the end of the season. Relegation zone pretty much all season, but the final weeks of the season they hit amazing form and they pulled themselves out of it. So well done to Wigan, and watch out for them next season. I think they could be a pretty good force. But in this one, again, I haven't been back in Swindon all year because I can't really. So Wigan 2, Swindon 0.
Yeah, hard to go against you on this. I will, just because I have to go somewhere against you. So I go 3-0 to Wigan. Absolutely fantastic. I think they won like 7 of their last 10 games or something. Just unreal. They flew out of the relegation zone. And credit to them. And we'll enjoy seeing them next year.
Sunderland versus Northampton Town.
Sunderland. You just can't end a year well. You completely refuse to. Shooing up the table. They're going to end the season somewhere between 3rd and 5th. They're secure in a playoff place, but yet again, it's a lottery for them to end the season. Northampton were garbage for most of the year. They had a really good start that just completely fell away, and they've been dropping down the table since, I don't know, October or something. So they will be back in League Two next season. I see a Sunderland victory here, Ian. What do you think?
Yeah, I do too. You got, again, it's just a matter of where they'll finish in the playoffs, isn't it, for Sunderland? And Northampton gave it a go, but weren't good enough. Sunderland, quite a nice, comfortable win, really. I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory for Sunderland.
I will go 2-0 to the Black Cats. Crewe Alexandra versus Shrewsbury Town.
And again, another League One side. We talked about Swindon probably being the most disappointed. You have to say Crewe probably been the most impressive out of all the sides that got promoted from League Two the season before. They've been really good, and at times themselves, they found themselves like Plymouth, on that cusp of trying to get into the playoffs, but ultimately the form wasn't consistent enough. Shrewsbury, it feels like it's been the season that never really got going for them. They've had problems with like changing the managers, and they had problems with COVID all the way through the season as well. So it's a season that they can't wait to finish, and hopefully next season with Cottrell back there in the dugout with a full pre-season, they'll be hoping to go a lot better. But I just see this one petering out to be the first draw I'm predicting. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go for a 1-0 Crewe victory, and they've had a really nice debut season, and I think they'll be really good next year.
Ipswich Town versus Fleetwood Town.
Ipswich Town. Doesn't matter you got a new owner. Doesn't matter you got a new manager. The end of this season has been boring and dull, and the goals are still hard to find. They're going to end on a -2 goal difference. Well, they're ending right now on a -2 goal difference. Fleetwood Town finally shook the Joey Barton bug and have been better since then. They're back up to 15th, but I can never, ever back Fleetwood Town, and thus, I am predicting Ian a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, both these sides, it's been a weird season, isn't it? I mean, it'd be interesting to see what Ipswich strengthen with over the summer, whether the new investment, new owners, and, relatively new manager as well will improve things, because they've been so dour over the last few seasons, and it's almost like they just can't shift the curse of Paul Lambert, really, of his dour brand of football. And I think Fleetwood will nick it here. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Fleetwood win.
MK Dons versus Rochdale.
We did back it. We thought Rochdale would go down this season, and they did. Ultimately, they weren't good enough. The biggest thing is obviously conceding goals. They were way too open at the back, and it came back to haunt them. And they left themselves too much to do in the final few games of the season. And MK Dons probably been one of the surprise packages, I would say, of the season. I think they've achieved better than most people would have expected, and I expect them to win this game quite comfortably as well. I'm going for a 3-1 Milton Keynes Dons win.
We both know I love the Dons. They played a really good possession-based style of football. Rochdale, your beloved Rochdale, we will not be able to call on next season if Oxford are still in League One. But, we wish you well in League Two, Rochdale. I'm sure you'll come back up. Dons to win 2-0. Very quickly, I'd like to thank everyone who's joined our Patreon. The details are on the screen and down below. If you're enjoying the channel, please have a look at it. But for now, I'd just like to thank PJ Simpson, Matthew Bowden, Robert Allen, and Grandstand Betters for all the support they've given us throughout the season.
Yeah, on the Patreon, we have loads of different tiers, and you can go and check out the tiers that we have. They all come with their own little bits of goodies, so you can pick the tier that is most affordable for you. But if you don't want to back us on Patreon, just hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button helps us out so much, and we appreciate your continued support. And we're going to crack on with Doncaster Rovers versus promoted Peterborough United.
Peterborough United, 3-3 draw, fantastic scenes. If you go back and watch our live stream, as much as Ian was glued to the Shrewsbury match that Oxford were playing, Peterborough staged a late comeback, 3 goals, including one in the 93rd minute, guaranteed them promotion. Doncaster Bells, at one point looked like they might get promoted. Now they're ending a solid at least 7 or 8 points below the promotion zone. I've got Peterborough to win this. I know they've just secured promotion, but I still think they're just too good. I think they're going to win 2-0.
Doncaster had another defeat in the week as well, and Peterborough just about kind of spluttered over the line, didn't they, in the end, and got there. At times, we thought it was kind of a season where they were looking at promotion as kind of a revenge from the season before, and eventually they came good on that promise, and I'd say deserved to go up in that second spot. Peterborough probably will run out winners, but I'm just going to go with a draw in this one, just because I think they will be kind of nothing. There's no energy left, and 1-1 draw in this one.
Blackpool versus Bristol Rovers.
Again, one of the surprise packages of the season is Blackpool. They've been absolutely superb, finishing at the moment in 3rd place. If they win this game, which you would expect them to, that is much higher than most people would have expected them to finish. They've just finally got the job done of any lingering doubts with a good win on Tuesday night, and they come up against the side that are battling Swindon to be the worst side in League One in Bristol Rovers. They've been terrible. It's been a wretched season for them, and Blackpool will win this nice and comfortably. I'm going for a 2-0 Blackpool win.
Ian, I'm going to copy you on that. Bristol Rovers have been nothing short of terrifying, but that's what happens when Joey Barton's your manager, and Blackpool have been fantastic.
Lincoln City versus AFC Wimbledon.
So, Ian, the loss of the matches that mean absolutely nothing. AFC Wimbledon, fantastic end to the season. Much like Wigan, they won some ridiculous sum of 8 or 9 games almost in a row to get clear. At one point, they looked cut adrift at the bottom. Lincoln, on the other hand, led the league for a long period. Were in 2nd for a long period, but they are qualifying in the playoffs. We talked about this enough times. They finally got their form under control and solidified a playoff place. To me and you, we think they'll be in the finals of the playoff. We've discussed this quite a few times. For now, I think they're going to beat Wimbledon 1-0.
Yeah, a couple of uncharacteristic games for Lincoln, only in the manner of the way they conceded goals. They conceded 3 against Peterborough in that, they were 3-0 up, drew 3-3, and then they lost 3-1 to Charlton in the midweek game. which is kind of uncharacteristic for them to lose 6 goals in 2 games. So Appleton will just hope that's kind of, you'll have time to iron out the creases before the playoffs start. And Wimbledon have done what Wimbledon always do. They look dead and buried and they pull themselves out of it, and they've been excellent in doing so. So yeah, I'm going to go for a Lincoln win as well. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for the Imps.
Ian, let's talk about the important games, and these go in order of importance. We start with Charlton Athletic versus League One champions, Hull City.
Yeah, slightly skewed with the factors. I'm an Oxford United fan as to the level of importance here. But Charlton versus Hull, all Charlton could do was win on Tuesday night to keep the playoff hopes alive. They did. Very good win over Lincoln City by 3-1. They are in the same boat as Oxford, but the goal difference isn't as good. They're on 71 points. Oxford are on 71. Portsmouth sit above on 72. And it's between those 3 sides who gets this final playoff spot. Tough old game, though, Tom, playing Hull City. Do you think the Tigers will still have the fire in the belly, even though they've won the league?
I do. I don't know why, but I do just think Hull are going to want to end on a high. No one likes winning the league and having a terrible loss match. You want to win, celebrate, go out, enjoy yourselves. For me, I think Hull are going to beat Charlton. I think Charlton will be out of it by half-time. I think Hull are just going to enjoy themselves in this match and play with reckless abandon, and I think they'll win. But I will let you pick the score first.
Thank you. I think this one's going to be a draw. I think it will be one where Charlton do take the lead, and it's kind of looking good for them, but then Hull do peg them back in the second half, and then it kind of fades out into being a bit of a draw. But I'm going to go for a decent draw, though. I'm going to go for a 2-2 in this one. And it was a draw, really, with Accrington, which was kind of the result Charlton will look back with last weekend with a lot of anger.
3-0 to the Tigers.
Wow. Ending any hopes for Charlton. So Charlton could still technically get in with a draw, but they really would need results to go firmly in their favour. But let's move on to the penultimate game, which is Portsmouth versus Accrington Stanley.
So Portsmouth, both much like Sunderland, had the most insane blip in form once they finally got close to the top, completely fell away. For the last month, have basically been dropping in and out of the playoff places due to having not played enough games and everyone jumping ahead of them. They've done well to get back into 6th place, but they need to win this to secure a playoff berth, and it is not an easy match. Accrington Stanley were in the playoff places till about a month and a half, 2 months ago, when their form hit a dip that you would have expected for most of the season. They're not the greatest club in League One, but they've done so well with their results. They're on a run of, they haven't lost in 4 games. They are a banana skin team if you've ever seen one. They just have certain games where they play with an incredible level of panache and stay strong at the back. And Ian, this is a really tough game for Pompey today.
It is a tough game for Portsmouth. Accrington have thrown a spanner into the works for all 3 of these sides, and Portsmouth will know that because they only recently played them and had an insane 3-3 draw where it looked like Portsmouth were dead and buried, then they looked like they'd won it, and then it ended up being 3-3. So they'll be hoping that Portsmouth will be hoping that this game is nothing like that at all, and they can just go out and be the side you would expect them to be. You would expect them to go out and be able to put Accrington in their place. They only need a win. And obviously if Charlton and Oxford can't win, then Portsmouth, they could get by with a draw or even a defeat in this one. But if they win the game, everything else is completely irrelevant. Portsmouth will be in that playoff spot. So that's the only thing they need to focus on. They'll back themselves to do it at home. And we know it's a quality lineup. All the way through, it's incredibly strong. Dan Cowley brothers, maybe they've just found that this was a little bit of a harder job when they thought with the dip in form that they had. But the quality of people like Marquis and Dembele, Ronan Curtis, you would expect Pompey to find a way to win when the pressure is truly on them. However, I can't back it, and Portsmouth fans, the reason I can't back it is because I want Oxford in the playoffs, as you know. So I'm going to go with something crazy, and it's going to be exactly the same as the scoreline at the Crown Ground or Wham Stadium. 3-3 draw with a John Marquis own goal in the last minute.
I'm going with a 2-2 draw.
This is what it's all about, isn't it? This is it. It's the main event.
Oxford United versus Burton Albion.
Hi everybody, before we get into this Oxford review, I just want to give a shout out to friend of the channel, Alex Christo de Lulu, and I had to look over to see how to pronounce his name properly because I'm rubbish at those pronunciations. But Alex has been supporting us for a while. He started his own YouTube channel as well, doing Oxford United reviews and reviews of other things as well. So go and check out his videos. I said that if he sent in a little 30-second video, we'd put it in this video as well. So here is Alex giving his thoughts on the game.
Hi guys, I've got this as an Oxford United 2-1 win against Burton. It's going to be interesting to see how Burton managed to cope with the midfield battle, knowing that Sean Clare won't be playing. Obviously he's been a key part of their squad since he's gone out on loan. I've actually been keeping quite a good eye on him. He looks like he's been playing some great football for them, being a key part of that squad that have obviously turned their season around under Jimmy Floydd. So it'll be interesting to see how they adapt to not having him in the squad. But I've got to believe that Oxford can win this and can still make the playoffs.
Great job, Alex. Thanks for that. As you can tell, he summed up in 30 seconds what I would talk about for about 10 minutes. So a lot more concise commentary over there. The channel is called TKR, folks. Go and check that out. Give him a subscribe. Tell him that you've come from very biased opinions and go and support his channel. The details will also be down in the descriptions as well. But thank you, Alex. And let's crack on with our thoughts on Oxford versus Burton.
A crazy season. A crazy season that has been a bit of a slog at times and at times been extremely enjoyable. At the moment, we have just experienced one of the more enjoyable times of the season for Oxford United. When we played Accrington Stanley a few weeks ago and we lost to them, it did look like that playoff dream was going to end, and it needed, well, we felt it needed 6 wins at least out of those final 8 games if Oxford were going to get anywhere close. Now, they got 5 of those wins, or so it was 6 wins out of the final 7. We've got 5 of those wins, and hopefully this game against Burton will be the 6th. Oxford have been staging some remarkable comebacks of late as well. A remarkable comeback against Gillingham and a remarkable comeback win against Shrewsbury. And all it's done is put us on the cusp of a game where we have to win, but it still might not be enough. But I'm not confident Oxford are going to win this game, Thomas.
Yeah, let me very quickly talk about Burton Albion. So on the 1st of January, they were bottom of the table. I think they were about 15 points away from safety, and they appointed Jimmy Floydd as manager. And since then, they have been on an absolute tear in the League One. They won, I think it was 8 or 9 games before their first draw. Then they won 3 or 4 more matches, and they've been absolutely sensational. They dragged themselves up to mid-table mediocrity, and fair play to them. They're exactly what we thought they'd be now at the beginning of the season. They're a hard team to beat, but equally not that special. Oxford. Let's hope we don't look back on that Wimbledon result and cry a little bit. Let's hope we can beat the Brewers here. It's a huge match. Oxford are on fantastic form. They're winners of 4 of the last 5. The Gillingham game will have given them belief. The Shrewsbury game will have given them belief. 2 late 3-2 victories. They know they have to win. They have to win. There's no question. Don't think about it. They have to win.
We are going to be live streaming this game. It is the final, well, unless Oxford get in the playoffs, it is going to be the final live stream of the season. So join us at 11:45 or just a little bit after to go through, where I'll be following the game and Tom will be following every other scoreline in League One. It is bound to send me closer to the grave. I don't doubt it. But I expect this one to be tense, and I do expect Oxford to have to kind of do some battling in this one and roll the sleeves up, because Burton are not going to lie down. Ex-Oxford United, Kane Hemmings banging in the goals for Burton as well. He'll want to put a spanner in the works, and Hasselbaink won't want to he'll want his side to end on a win, and he'll fancy his chances of doing well with this Burton side next season. But I fancy Oxford. I fancy him to play the same side that started at the weekend against Shrewsbury, which means obviously there's no Goran in the side again, but you do have Brannigan, which makes us slightly weaker at the back, but better going forward. And unfortunately, I do see Dan Adji missing out again, even though I would like him to start. I think that's just what Robinson's going to do. And I think Oxford are going to nudge out a win over Burton Albion here. Oxford United 2, Burton Albion 1.
I'm going for the exact same score line. Come on, you yellows. Thank you so much, all of you who watched this. Please, if you enjoyed it, smash the like button, hit subscribe if you like the channel. Go below. We want all of your predictions. Tell us what you think of your club this season. Sunday, 11:45, we are live streaming the final day of the League One season. Doesn't matter what club you're with, join in. I will be reporting on all the scores as they happen. Ian will be living on tenterhooks as Oxford United play Burton Albion. We love all of you so much. We appreciate all of you that have watched us this season. All that's left to say is, come on, you yellows.